We don't back down. We stand our ground in the doghouse, where the real are found. No chains, no fear, just pure aggression. We're here to win, no second guessing. This is the doghouse. Time to face the sound. Welcome to the doghouse where the strong survive. By tearing down the walls, no compromise. No filter, no mercy, just a cold hard truth. We're the ones who bite and we're waiting for you. Welcome to the doghouse where the strong survive. We're tearing down the walls, no compromise. No filter, no mercy, just a cold hard truth. We're the ones who bite and we're waiting for you. Welcome to the doghouse where the strong survive. We're tearing down the walls, no compromise. No filter, no mercy, just the cold hard truth. We're the ones who bite, and we're ready for you. Locked and loaded, the truth's our ammo. We're breaking down the doors, no more shadows in the doghouse. It's all or nothing, we're here to fight. No bluffing, no running. Locked and loaded, the truth's our ammo. We're breaking down the doors, no more shadows in the doghouse. It's all or nothing, we're here to fight. No bluffing, no running. No running, no buffing, no running. No running, no running, no running. We don't back down, we stand our ground. In the doghouse where the real are found. No chains, no fear, just pure aggression. We're here to win, no second guessing. No second guessing. This is the doghouse, time to face the sound. Welcome to the doghouse, where the strong survive. We're tearing down the walls, no compromise. No filter, no mercy, just the cold hard truth. We're the ones who fight, and we're ready for you. When the truth's our ammo, we're breaking down the doors, no more shadows in the doghouse. It's all or nothing, we're here to fight. No bluffing, no running. Locked and loaded, the truth's our ammo. We're breaking down the doors, no more shadows in the doghouse. It's all or nothing, we're here to fight. No.
Are you ready to rumble? What's going on, everybody? What's going on, Miss April? What's going on, Jeff? Jeff said literally lost everything you could in 2020 for elections. Obviously, some really poor policy. Obviously, it's been a really great policy. Joe Biden has done a phenomenal job with the economy, and he's handing off that phenomenal economy to Donald Trump to hopefully not mess up. But Donald Trump will certainly remember all those stickers we saw at the gas stations where it said Joe Biden. It was like a picture of Joe Biden. It said, "Boy, I don't even know who you are, Preston. You kind of shouted yourself out. Who even are you, bro?" I'm gonna do that. I appreciate it, Preston, but you ain't gonna get a shout out. You don't come in. The first thing, let me tell you something. The first thing you do when you come in here is not to just start saying, "Hey, bro, shout me out." Okay, I don't even know who you are. Get to know everybody in here first. Just a rule. Remember all those Joe Biden stickers that we saw when at the gas pumps, and it was saying because MAGA couldn't help but vandalize stuff, right? And remember that infamous sticker that said, "I did that." Oh, that's about to be Donald Trump. Donald Trump is about to make prices go through the roof. It's about to be insane. Okay. We're going to go through and we're going to watch a few videos. Tom Homan, I've been doing a lot of deep diving into immigration. We did a panel last week with Wick TV, and it was cool. But the problem is we didn't really have a super in-depth conversation like I was hoping we were going to have. And I've done some more digging, in regards to like Title 42. I mean, is that how you're going to be, Preston? My man, you want to come in here and then you want to start doing stuff like that, bro? I mean, that's cool, bro. Here, let me go ahead and put you in timeout, bro. You can come back when you're done. Done being crazy. Thank you, William. I appreciate you liking the stream. But yeah, immigration. So I started looking into like Title 42 and which I believe Title 42 was the Remain in Mexico policy. We also had what was the other one? There was another one we were reading up on. I can't remember. But there was some other immigration policies that we're looking into. And guys, I'm gonna tell you, the immigration policy right now for Donald Trump is absolutely atrocious. I got that one little hair right there that like bothers the ever living crap out of me. But anyways, we have some of these immigration policies. Title 42 Remain in Mexico was a disaster, from everything we can tell. We're gonna watch a little bit of Tom Homan, see what Tom Homan believes, and then we're gonna watch some of the MSNBC interview. This one comes from Dr. Phil. We're just gonna pretty much jump right into it. But what I can tell you is this: we had the conversation last week, and a majority of that conversation revolved around what should be done, right? Instead of what will be done. And that's my biggest issue is a lot of people don't understand what Donald Trump's immigration policy is going to be. And Donald Trump's immigration policy is going to be fine. We won't give you child separation. We'll just deport the children with the mother and the father. Oh yeah. See, there's a difference between this, right? So as they were entering into the United States, they would separate the children. That was a policy done under Donald Trump, by the way, which was kept through Biden. But keep in mind that Joe Biden had that policy in place because of Donald Trump. He tried to fight it and eventually did win the child separation court case, I believe, in 22. So keep in mind that and this goes back to what I've been trying to tell everybody, but nobody wants to listen. A lot of what we are seeing under Joe Biden for his first couple of years was due in part mostly to Joe Biden. And people forget this, okay? Joe Biden was actively fighting in the courts to try to get some of these removed. Are you against any president? I'm against Donald Trump particularly, but there are certain policies. I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily against a president in and of themselves. I'm more against their policies, but certainly I am more against Donald Trump more than I have been with any other president. But when we get to what Donald Trump had, and this is why I try to tell people, his first 2 years, Joe Biden spent trying to rescind some of Trump's terrible immigration policy, and it just didn't really work out too well. And so that's kind of why we saw what we saw with a lot of spike in immigration. We also had Remain in Mexico, if I'm not mistaken, as well, that stayed in place for a couple of years as well. So a lot of these policies were not easy to just simply remove, and Joe Biden had to endure some of that as well. But likewise, Donald Trump will be inheriting Joe Biden's great economy. And keep in mind, there are certain things he can do that can absolutely turn the tide real quickly. And one of those is tariffs. If he implements these tariffs, it's going to be pretty crazy. So we'll see how it goes. But anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at this new video by Tom Homan. And let's go ahead and see how that looks. So I'm trying to adjust a few small things here. Yes, Mila, what's going on, guys? Talk about the cost of things now. Yeah, so if anybody understands what inflation is, guess what? Inflation will never go down. That's called deflation. Deflation is a bad thing. And thanks in part to a lot of Donald Trump's policies and his economic policies, such as the OPEC deal. We can look at some of Donald Trump's inflationary policies that he did in 2020. The list goes on. So yeah, Donald Trump had a large hand in that as well. So, all right. So let's go ahead and jump straight into this real quick. Let's go ahead and watch this Tom Homan video. He did this with, he sat down with Dr. Phil. And it was pretty interesting. I started watching. I'm like, I want to save it for my reaction right now. Go ahead and jump in here. What's up, Lee? I finally get to catch your streams. Yo, Lee, I appreciate you jumping in, man. We've been trying to get into this, but it's been difficult. It's been difficult. I've been trying to get into it, and it's just finally, I finally got it scheduled on. I almost didn't stream today. I was like, no, I need to. That's part of the grind. You got to do it when you don't want to do it. Biden's economy is great. I love paying more for everything. Oh my gosh, it's almost as if that there are. It's not like, you know. This is the funny thing about this is when people talk about economics, they want to sit there and say, all of a sudden Joe Biden takes office and we could just completely ignore everything that took place over the past several years. Really funny how that works, right? We'll just ignore anything that Donald Trump did. But I get it. Yeah, I get it. You and YouTube people, you just like to be keyboard warriors. I get it. But the costs were down. These are such elementary school takes. Learn something about economics.
Illegal migration.
This is a 2-year-old child that shows up with a Post-it note.
Obviously, her parents played the criminal cartel, have her smuggle that. Thank God she's alive.
Those that come in are being victimized before they ever get here by the cartels.
I found many dying people. Drugs from Mexico across the border.
Are living in a nightmare. They tell stories of fentanyl seizures, high-speed.
Now, keep in mind, no video. Oh, thank you, Miss April Dawn. Appreciate you. Yeah, so we're going to watch through this, and I'm going to give my commentary. Now, I want you guys to keep in mind, Dr. Phil had went onto the campaign trail with Donald Trump. So this is probably going to have a very right-leaning kind of insight into this. I think Biden should have closed more drilling. I was hoping gas would go up to $10 a gallon. Guess what, buddy? Woodworking Gunny Bear. It actually went, gas production was at record levels. So try again. That wasn't the issue. OPEC was the issue. Donald Trump tried to stop the global supply of oil to try and ended up costing oil prices go up more. All right, let's go ahead and finish watching this.
Chases and the heartbreaking tales of American families torn apart by a system that seems to be failing them. On Dr. Phil Primetime, we've exposed how
Yeah, Lee, Dr. Phil is MAGA. He was at the Madison Square Garden rally, but he was kind of giving more of a neutral take compared to other people.
illegal immigrants are fueling crime across America.
Which this isn't true, but anyways.
I've heard him say that since the new administration, 6 million people have come across the border.
10.5 million under the last administration. And then you.
Who's this Jason Jones guy? Okay, because it says immigration expert. Who is he? I want to know what his credentials are to be an immigration expert.
Add 2 million known gotaways to that. Doc, those are just the ones we know about.
These children that are coming in with someone that says, I'm their mother or aunt.
Wait, who was that Jason? All right, let's look him up because this is the thing you should be doing. He has
Gotaways to that. Doc.
But who is he? What's up, Sanchi? Yeah, give it a like. Look, you can hate watch my stuff, and that's cool. But I would definitely do it. Yes, your I'm smarter than you attitude works so well the election. Please keep it up. I'll continue to keep it up. Y'all MAGA didn't win. Recall Cold's 11th? What are you talking about? Let me see here. Jason Jones. That's what I want to look up. Colonel Dan 11. I don't know who. I'm not sure who Colonel Dan is. Let me see. Hold on. I want to see who this Jason Jones guy is because I always find it interesting when they try to tout these experts. Here we go. Public speaker and border intelligence expert. Who is he? He has his own website, so that says everything there. Media. So he was on Newsmax. Interesting. There's not a whole lot. It looks like he's on Twitter. Let's see. Oh, he's a Newsmax border correspondent. So that should pretty much sum up right there what his beliefs are. All right, let's go back to the video.
Welcome back.
Oops, wrong video.
Under the last administration. And then you add 2 million known gotaways to that. Doc, those are just the ones we know about.
Now, keep in mind, even at these rates, right, when we talk about these particular rates of 10 million or 2 million gotaways, that only helps the left. And let me explain, because the higher that number goes, the lower that the percentage is of those who commit crimes. Keep that in mind. So MAGA, please tell me that there are 100 million that come across the border. because that number starts to dwindle. Let's call it the denominator. So yeah.
These children that are coming in with someone that says, I'm their mother, aunt, uncle, or whatever, we have no way of verifying that.
We do not.
But that could be a trafficker.
There's a very good possibility.
National Border Patrol Council, I believe, just recently endorsed Donald Trump. Let me double check that, but I also think that's the case. We're not off to a good start here. I can tell you that right now. National Border Patrol Council, Trump. Let's see. You are downing a man that has a credentials because he left his list is credentials. Wait, okay, so Miss April, I don't see anything in here. Look, all right. Jason Jones, an internationally renowned border intelligence expert and keynote speaker with decades of experience saving lives across the southwest border. Jason's extensive experience at the border leaves him ideally placed to educate. You can't see what I'm looking at here. Educate communities and government agencies about the ongoing threat of the unsecure borders. I don't see what really. Oh, here it is. Jason's been responsible for multiple investigations targeting cartel leadership and collaborating closely with the U.S. intelligence community, saved numerous lives. He is a retired captain. Okay, so he served as he didn't serve as a border patrol agent. He served as basically a state trooper. That's what that is. Texas Department of Public Safety Intelligence Encounter and has supervised human intelligence operation. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not saying that he isn't an expert, but by that same token, I mean, I have to take into consideration the fact that he's a Newsmax correspondent. That's just what it is, right? So he's going to have views that are more aligned with that particular thing. Now, is it to negate anything that he says? No, we should take it word by word, but it is interesting to say the least. And so, all right. Who was it we were looking at? Oh, I was trying to see if we could find out what the Border Patrol Council said. I can't and won't say what he did before he started the border. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't think it inherently disqualifies you, but it is something. It's kind of like if we had somebody from MSNBC that was going down the border and was a border correspondent, right? We should take that for face value for what it is. Keep in mind, Biden passed the most hard on border bill since a while, so I highly doubt there's unfunded and have no background checks. Well, there's that too, Lee, but again, I was saying this earlier, after I dug into Title 42 and child separation policies, these were policies that went into Joe Biden's administration that Joe Biden was trying to remove, but kept getting shot down by courts. So
that they're being trafficked, that they're going into the sex industry, or they're being forced into the sweatshops.
So you don't feel safe out there?
No. My workers, they kicked in their door, broke into my husband's office, broke into my husband's truck.
And this is something I want to be very careful of. When we start talking about these particular policies, okay, and we start talking about some of these stories, the issues that come up from this have more to do not so much with the people that are crossing the border as much as it is the cartel and things like that, right?
This is the smuggler's highway. This is how they get people.
Mark Lamb is a staunch, I believe, MAGA supporter as well. But he's also, Mark Lamb has been on numerous TV shows as well. So not surprised here in the slightest.
From Mexico across the border.
The NYPD says it is battling a citywide robbery scheme in which migrants are hired to snatch women's.
See, this is something that really irritates me. Every time we have a conversation about immigration, we always have to sit here and somehow criticize. It's like we preemptively talk about this. We just start off the conversation with crime, and that's understandable and that's perfectly fine. But what it does is it tries to paint this broad brush that all immigrants who are coming across this border are criminals. That's just not statistically true at all. I mean, if we had this much like eyes on crimes done by U.S. citizens, there'd be a whole wide world change. But again, MAGA doesn't care about that.
Purses and phones. This is an 82-year-old woman that's being dragged.
Arapahoe County deputies say they have arrested
Here we
four
go with
members of
this.
the notorious Venezuelan gang known as Tren de Aragua.
My car was in the crossfire of a major gunfight. There were 5 to 6 different calibers of weapons.
This area here,
Keep in mind that a lot of these apartments and things like that are very niche issues. They are issues that are more local, that these tenants have already had a long history of, that predate even Joe Biden. So none of these seem to be really a uniquely Joe Biden issue. And again, they're very niche and few and far between.
it's not safe.
Well, now that you've seen the stakes, let's break down the numbers on what this immigration crisis looks like. There's no
Oh, yeah,
argument.
here we go. Here we go. I'm excited. Let's get those numbers going, boys. Let's go.
Immigration population in the U.S. has hit a record high. More than 14% of people in this country were born abroad, including naturalized citizens.
Okay. I see what you're doing here, Phil. The problem is it doesn't say where these immigrants came from. Hate this.
Compare that to only 5% in 1970.
Keep in mind, Elon Musk is one of those immigrants.
So how many of them are undocumented? Almost 1/4. Out of 49 million immigrants in the U.S., around 13 million are unauthorized.
Cool.
That
deal?
includes migrants and asylum seekers with temporary protection.
Oh, wait, what was that? Let's go back. There's a very key issue there. Pick up on it. Pick up on what he just said. Let's listen to that again.
Unauthorized. 49 million immigrants in the U.S.,
There's a key
around
part there.
13 million are unauthorized. That includes migrants and asylum seekers
Migrants and asylum seekers
with temporary protected status.
with temporary protected status. So why then use this chart? Why use this chart to say, well, there's 13 million that are unauthorized, but within this 13 million, how many of those are asylum seekers? Exactly, you Moon. Exactly. But anyways, and this is from American Immigration Council. I guarantee you they don't have a pie chart like this, but I'm not going to pick apart this. I'm really here for more of Tom Homan stuff.
Includes migrants and asylum seekers with temporary protected status. Undocumented immigrants aren't just coming in from the southern border. The Department of Homeland Security estimates as many as 853,000 are people who overstay.
So let's be clear. To break down this 13 million number that he just provided, he said some of them are asylum seekers and some of them are undocumented. Well, now we have an additional, what looks to be nearly 1 million people that are here on expired visas. So how much of that is actually like the real number here?
Their visas. Just think about it. People from all over the world are literally taking trains.
People from all over the world, but yet keep in mind, I guarantee you that this entire conversation isn't going to take place with any of these countries here, or any of these countries, or definitely not this country. They're going to take place with these little countries. They're going to show the framing as if they're all coming from this region. Watch. Guarantee that's what's going to happen.
Planes and automobiles to get here illegally. So where are all these people from? The answer may surprise you. While most are from Central and South America, India, China, and the Philippines are also in the top 10.
Is it? This doesn't feel right. Did you hear that? Is this a PragerU video? Well, that's what it feels like, Wes. I'm gonna look into this number because I don't feel. I think it would make sense. Got to mention channel for the obligatory. Yeah. All right, I'm looking into this right now. This is top 10 countries of origin for unauthorized immigrants. Top 10 countries For unauthorized immigrants. For unauthorized. It's probably right, but I'm not. I don't know. I'm always skeptical with some of these numbers. MPI. Latest estimates of the size and origin. This is the Migration Policy Institute. Okay, so I see where he's getting this from. Yeah, so it does look like it's right. They're just literally copy and pasting this, by the way, which is funny as all get out. Look, this is what it's showing right here. So they have. Okay. That's interesting. So this is saying countries of origin, but this one says regions of birth of unauthorized immigrants. So I'm wondering. Okay, so they must be just. I'm trying to see how they differentiate. I guess origin, because here's the thing: is like, if someone were to, in other words, what I'm trying to say is, if someone from Europe flew to Mexico, would their country of origin be Mexico? What are some of these other ones? It just says it's just these two data points here. Let's see. Today releases latest estimates. And 11.9. Let's see. Well, the public might expect a greater jump in the size. So this is mid 2022. What is? Wait a minute. That's what I'm thinking, Wes. Because right here it's saying regions of birth. Now, granted, look. I'm not going to nitpick, but I mean, granted, there's still 65% that were born in Mexico and Central America, right? Which would align a little bit with this. But what I want to see is if these numbers, okay, they do not match what Dr. Phil had, but neither here nor there. It says migrants from Latin America and the Caribbean accounted for 80% of all unauthorized American immigrants in 2022. So, but again, I'm not going to nitpick. It looks like they're accurate. It looks like it's fairly accurate, so that's fine.
Where do they go? Well, most unauthorized immigrants
Yeah, that too, Wes.
live in California, Texas, Florida, and New York, with big cities seeing the.
Okay, so this one here, this is a little deceptive, okay? Because what this is, this makes sense, this kind of makes sense. What this is, for people that are unaware, this is these two states right here shipping migrants to New York. Let's be abundantly clear about that. I don't know if they've shipped any over to California, but I know for a fact both of these states have shipped their migrants to New York. So once again, not really a fan of this chart, but I'm being nitpicky.
Biggest drive.
I do think the asylum system in Canada and the US are being abused, and as a drain on the system, I think a very low amount of people are accepted for asylum claims. Well, a lot of it has to do with the length of time you're waiting as well.
Shows this is a red and blue issue, and it will take.
It's not a red. Okay, there's a lot of fucking issues. Sorry, a lot of issues with this. Okay, this whole idea of like, oh, look, it's a blue state, guys. Yeah, but you're ignoring that a lot of these border towns are red. Let me look that up. But I'm almost certain that California, let me look at the recent election. Where is California? I want to see how California voted in these counties. Yeah, like this is what I'm talking about. Now you do have San Diego that's blue, but like take a look at this. Make sure there's nothing on here. I have to be very careful. Here. Look at this. Red. San Diego's blue, but that's to be expected. But I mean, even then it's, pretty fairly split. So again, anyways, it's super frustrating how they frame it like that. And to be clear, same thing with Texas. Texas being red doesn't change the fact that the border typically is more red. All right.
Take both sides working together to solve it. With the numbers surging at the border, tough questions are being asked about jobs, public resources, and the stability of communities.
Remember what I said, guys? He was saying that people come from all across the country. And what I say, he's going to start showing pictures nonstop of Central America.
Now, sure, there are costs, and they're real. But let's not forget what research shows. Immigrants fill critical jobs, drive innovation, and pay taxes. It's a complex issue. There's no doubt about it. Unauthorized immigrants make up about 4% of the workforce. Sounds like a small number, but that includes nearly 30% of all.
That's not entirely true. Depending on which study you get, it's up to 44%. He's using the American Immigration Council, which is probably fine. But the one study I read said up to 44%. So this is a little bit on the low end.
All U.S. agricultural workers and 13% of construction workers.
No, that's not right either. Let's go. We got to fact check Dr. Phil, guys. American Immigration Council. That number is higher. It's absolutely higher. Yeah, let's look that up. 13%. There's no shot it's 13%. I've seen numbers as high as 40 or 50. Let's see here. Looking at the PDF real quick. My dog is like lost and tripping out. What are you doing? Don't tell me they got this from just Texas. Don't see. That's not it. It's got to be way higher than that. Oh, here we go. I don't see 13%. This is all like we work with H2A agricultural timbers. No, yeah, there's no way. Not 13%, especially not in Texas. Yeah, okay. I don't. Where is this source though? Let me click this one. Here we go. That's what I just had. This is Texas. Control find. Is it gonna be on here? Here we go. Yeah. See. Okay. Here you go, Miss April. I found it. I've never seen it. Right. Dr. Phil definitely did some funky stuff here. Okay. Look at this. This is just Texas. This is just Texas. Okay. Just Texas. Here you go. Let me try to see if I can make this a full screen real quick without giving too much away here. Should be fine. Don't see anything crazy. How do I make this full screen? F11. There you go. That should work. Check this out. 180,000 immigrants were employed in the construction industry in 2022. Now, I don't know if he said 2022, but I can't imagine it's changed downward. Representing 51% of all employed workers in the construction sector. Immigrant workers made up significant shares of following occupations. Construction laborers, 73%. Now, I don't know why these numbers differ. Because this is like for Houston. Because Houston is kind of one of the more prominent ones. So, and this is from the American Immigration Council. So I don't know where Dr. Phil got 13%. That's insane. There's no way it's that much. That low. So yeah, I need a site sorted for that. I don't need just the American Immigration Council. I need to know where did he get the 13% from? That's really bothering me. Because I don't know where he got it from. There's nowhere in here that it says anything to do with 13%.
You can't handle the truth.
Yo, thank you for that subscription. I appreciate it, buddy. I don't know where he got it from. Anyways, let's continue to watch this. That was super deceptive and kind of shitty.
They also pay taxes. Collectively, undocumented immigrants contribute about $97 billion in federal, state.
This is about right. But I know where he's going with this, guys. And keep in mind what this says, please. Federal, state, and local taxes.
And local taxes by recent estimates.
He's about to mention how much they're a drain on the burden, and I guarantee you it's about 100. Last I checked, it's about $180 billion, which is where I think he's going to go with this. But let's watch.
Most of that comes from payroll, sales, and property taxes.
Do you hear what he just said? Payroll taxes. Payroll taxes.
Undocumented immigrants do have limited access to some federal benefits such as food stamps and emergency Medicaid, but they are barred from most federal social programs. But some states and cities offer additional benefits such as New York.
God, I hate this so much. This framing is so it's so dishonest. So dishonest. I swear he's going to go down this route saying, look at how much they're a drain on the taxpayer. But I'm not paying for New York taxes. I'm not paying New York taxes. So I'm not paying any of this.
Which offers limited cash assistance and free school meals.
Oh my gosh, guys. Kids are getting free school meals. Can you believe that? Free school meals. Oh, man. So what's the alternative then? What's the alternative? That I guess they have to pay for it? Is that what the idea is? And then they contribute more? They contribute more to the taxpayer base? I guess we can say that.
The city spends an estimated $4.6 billion on...
I'm not paying none of that. I'm not paying none of that. That ain't coming from me.
Just 1 year of services to migrants.
This influx of asylum seekers.
No, not this guy. They're using him for this. No. They're doing it. They are this. I absolutely hate when. So, for example, this right here, guys, this right here is why you cannot capitulate to the right, because they then tout you around and say, look, see, they're saying it's a problem. This is why you've got to stop capitulating to the right. Because of this, they don't care. They're not going to play by the same rules, and they're going to use you. And to be clear, before someone accuses me of it, I'm not saying it's because of Eric Adams. I'm saying this with Mika and Joe Scarborough. I'm saying this because of Cenk Uygur. I'm saying this because of this guy right here. They say something because they want to be politically correct, because they know that they're coming into a Trump administration that's going to be pretty hostile to a lot of these sanctuary cities, so they're capitulating. But now look at what they're doing. What's going on, Miss Mandy? Hey, Miss Mandy. I saw you stream today. Shout out to Miss Mandy, guys. If you've not given Miss Mandy any kind of a follow or anything, please go and do that. God, guys, this really grinds my gears.
This is a serious crisis, one that New York City is facing largely on our own.
Illegal immigration also raises the cost of health care. Americans pay.
I am tired of debunking these numbers, and we're only 6 minutes in. Expenses paid by American citizens. What healthcare cost? What healthcare cost? I'm so tired of this. When you look at this, expenses paid by American citizens, no, because you just said they do not qualify for any federal aid, which means I'm not paying for this if they're happening in New York. And you just said that they're paying into sales tax and payroll taxes. What's going on, Tron? So spare me when you sit here and say American payers are paying $8,800 per 1 million undocumented. No, it may be disproportionate. But guess what? Can you imagine? Let's just think about this rationally. Okay? Dog knocked over my light. Let's think about this rationally. He just said that giving school lunches He didn't say it was a bad thing, to be clear, but he did say that they're getting free school lunches, and that's part of it. Which one do you think? Now, keep in mind, guys, if you look at like education, for example, Republican states tend to have lower education scores, but I digress. When we look at free school lunches, do you think that makes kids healthier or unhealthier? I guess it depends on the spectrum of what you want to say. Like our school lunch is healthier. But I would rather give kids school lunches instead of them starving and being more of a burden on the society. But right, exactly, Tron. Right.
Pay an extra $8,800 in health spending for every 1 million undocumented immigrants per capita. That's largely because most migrants don't have insurance.
Most migrants don't have insurance. Okay, so what do we do then? What is the alternative? Are you suggesting we just simply turn them away from getting medical care?
But that doesn't mean immigrants as a whole are a burden. Most Americans...
Godly! You just went on an entire rant about the drain that they have on the system and how they do this and that, and you're like, but that doesn't mean that they're all a burden.
Don't believe that. In a recent poll,
you have to make $120K a year to get free school lunch in North Carolina. Yeah, and again, and for sure, and that's the thing too, Miss Mandy. Let's keep this in mind as well. They're talking about undocumented immigrants, but keep in mind, undocumented immigrants are a mere fraction of the U.S. population. So how many U.S. kids are receiving free lunches, right? I mean, again, it's not like it's saying, okay, well, you're undocumented, so we're going to give you a special program. A lot of these have to do with an income threshold, right? So of that income threshold, how many of those are undocumented immigrants? Hey, there's just a whole bunch of issues with this.
60% of Americans say legal immigrants
mostly fill jobs which Americans. Oh yeah, that's super poverty. No, for sure. And that's what I'm saying. Like the kids should have free lunches at that rate. Based on registered voters, share respondents who did not answer, legal immigrants mostly fill jobs which Americans would like to have, don't want. Why do they split this? Why is this even in here?
Fill the jobs Americans generally don't want. Legal immigrants.
Why did he put that in there? Why? What's the point of this? I didn't learn anything from this other than what? Are you trying to like imply that Harris voters are like racist? Is that what this is about? Poor white kids will get swept up in the racism. This is so confusing to me. Why did you include this?
Mainly fill the jobs Americans generally don't want. Legal immigrants make up 13% of all workers in the U.S.
Wait.
Legal immigrants make up 13% of all workers in the U.S.
So legal immigrants make up 13%. This is about undocumented immigrants. I don't know why we're saying legal immigrants, but sure, let's go ahead.
Experts say legal immigrants help grow the economy without greatly reducing job availability or wages for U.S. citizens. And with the birth rate declining, America is going to need more hardworking legal.
Guys, I'm already triggered. I'm only 7 minutes in. I can barely get through 1 minute without triggering myself. What the is the difference here? What the hell is the difference?
Without greatly reducing job availability or wages for U.S. citizens, and with the birth...
Reducing wages. Okay, so you just acknowledged. So, yeah, that's you, Homan. That too. That was a big thing, okay? But this is something that really confuses me. You just sat there and talked about... you just... All right, let's just continue.
Birth rate declining, America is going to need more hardworking legal immigrants, not less.
So why not bring more in? Why are we sitting here arguing about like undocumented immigrants? Just why?
And let's talk about President-elect Trump's bold promises on this issue. His tough talk on illegal immigration struck a chord with a lot of voters.
No, guys, this isn't good. No one's covering this. Why is nobody covering this Dr. Phil segment? This is so crazy.
We will.
Wait, what? Hold on, wait, what?
With a lot of
I want to see what
voters.
this headline was. Trump's return to White House sets stage for far-reaching immigration crackdown. I guarantee you, first of all, this was November 6th of 2024. Oh, God. No, 100%, Miss Mandy. They truly believe these policies will only allow the good one. Right. Exactly, Wes. That's the whole thing. This whole premise that he's slaying out is that they're a burden on the economy, that they are criminals, and that they're coming from Mexico. Those are the three things that I just learned from those stats that he provided. And somehow that legal immigrants are somehow exponentially different from undocumented immigrants when they're not. It's crazy this guy can't see the difference. Legal vetted and illegal unvetted, a huge difference. I'm not even going to get into the argument because I can sit there and I'm going to go down this rabbit hole of saying, what is the inherent issue with an undocumented immigrant? Now, let's be clear here, because this is the problem is that a lot of people will sit there and go through and sit there and say, oh, well, Doghouse, you're for open borders. I'm not for open borders. I'm for them. But the option on the table right now, which I feel like we're about to get into, is that Donald Trump wants to deport them all. That's the issue. I want a pathway to citizenship. I want them to be vetted.
We will do large deportations from Springfield.
Well, Miss Mandy, keep in mind too, they just got, I believe just got a new president in Mexico. And so now Trump is surrounded by the new Mexican president is she's much more like liberal than the previous president, is not so much more open to, shut up, Drip, not as open to some of Trump's antics. And so is Trudeau.
Field, Ohio, large deportations. We're going to get these people out.
When did this video air? I want to make sure because this looked like I read up on here and it said like a day ago, 20 hours ago, but I can't tell when this first aired. Doesn't say. Might have been before the election. I can't tell. It's hard to tell. All right. Goodness.
And if they come back into our country.
See, and I hated when Donald Trump would come up here and do this exact same thing. He would put up these two these immigrants, which, this is the Tren de Agua thing. They would put them up there. I'm playing, Lee Andrew, this is my stream. I'll play it as long as I want to, buddy. If you don't want to, you can happily leave and you can go watch it somewhere else. But this is my stream. I'm going to stop it. I'm providing commentary on this video that we're watching. So, but anyways.
They will be told it is an automatic 10-year sentence in jail with no...
I encourage anybody who keeps sitting in chat saying, which I know that I know on YouTube Shorts, we're going to get a lot of MAGA. I don't know why inherently that's the case, but that's just what it is. I would encourage you to go look at what the wages are for farm workers in the United States. You would be surprised to find out that, guess what? Farm workers don't have to adhere to minimum wage laws. They're exempt. Now, I digress.
No possibility of parole.
Now, to make that happen, President-elect Trump has tapped Tom Homan.
All right, here we go, boys. This is what I've been waiting for.
The former acting ICE director as his new borders are. Tom is about as tough as they come. With decades of experience, he's been tapped to oversee all U.S. borders, including air and sea security, and lead the charge on deporting undocumented.
I'm going to give you guys a brief introduction to Tom Homan before we continue this video. I want to give you guys a brief introduction to who Tom Homan is.
You toured the Texas.
Let's go to 220. I'm going to show you guys a little something here, okay? For anybody who wonders and any MAGA. So if there's any MAGA in my chat who want to sit there and exactly, Miss Mandy, she gets it. And Miss Mandy knows this better than anybody. She's literally like Miss Mandy reacts. She reacts to some of these videos. I want to show you guys who Tom Homan is. For any MAGA in my chat who go, he's got a hierarchy of who he's going to deport. Let's listen in on this, guys. Let's listen to this video, shall we? And then we'll watch some. Now, I'm giving you a precursor to what we're about to see on Dr. Phil.
Time, you can be released in the United States, either go to court or not show up in court and get an order removal
and we're not going to remove you, the whole world's going to come to this country.
Right. Well, you say you're not just going to turn off the faucet, turn off the fire hose, but carry out these deportations for the criminals first. But if you're an illegal immigrant here that's breaking the law to begin with, so does that put everybody in the same category, or could it?
I wouldn't say same category. The president's been very clear, so have I, that
What she's referring to here is there is a hierarchy. What he has just said, yeah, exactly. What he has just stated was that when he says that he wants to deport all criminals, she had just asked him, and thank you for somebody finally asking him the question, do you put those people in the same category as that first tier? And he said, I would say so, which means that would be the first one to go is anybody who crossed the border as an undocumented immigrant. Let's play it out and listen to his
right out of the gate, we're going to concentrate on public safety threats and national security threats. And we got plenty of them, because if you look at the stats, you compare the Trump administration to the Biden administration, the removal of criminal aliens has decreased 74%. And we know a lot of criminals have come across this border in the last 4 years. So we got
curious where I got that number from, but anyways,
a big block of criminal aliens we got to locate and remove from the country. And that's why I've been pushing back on the sanctuary cities and these mayors and governors who are speaking out against it. I cannot believe as an elected mayor or elected governor, you do not want public safety threats out of your community. Well, if you don't, just
remember,
get out of the way, because ICE will do it for
do not move out of the way or ICE will do it for you, which is really interesting.
For you. But I would think,
keep in mind that they have already mentioned arresting mayors who stand in the way of ICE. Keep that in mind.
It would be a nonpartisan issue to remove public safety threats out of the community. But getting back to your point, if you're in the country illegally, you're not off the table. It's not okay to be in this country illegally. You enter the country illegally, which is a crime. You've been ordered removed by a judge. You got a problem.
Well, when you say get out of the way, ICE will take care of it for you. So we've got the Denver mayor, Mike Johnson, saying they're prepared for the worst. Would it come to you guys getting them out of the way? When you say that, what does that mean exactly?
Well, I've been very clear. If they don't want to help, fine, don't help. I find it incredible you don't want to help remove public safety threats. But if you don't want to help, I've given warning. Do not impede us. Do not knowingly harbor and conceal an illegal alien from ICE authorities, because that is a crime. And we'll prosecute those crimes. When I was an agent many years ago, I prosecuted U.S. citizens for harboring illegal alien in their home, harboring an...
Did you see that conflation there? Did you see that conflation there? So, guys... Like, when I'm trying to sound the alarm of, like, look at what we're about to deal with here, Tom Homan has just stated he would arrest mayors by conflating the fact that he arrested U.S. citizens who were harboring these fugitives in their homes. But make no mistake that he has also just stated that he would end up arresting U.S. citizens who harbored those fugitives in their home. This is really crazy, okay? This News Nation, keep in mind, News Nation is not Newsmax. They look very similar, but they're not the same. Let's go ahead and get back to Dr. Phil. Now you guys know who Tom Homan is, okay? That's just a little bit. I'm gonna give you, before we get back into that. Yeah, harboring, that's the one. So let's go ahead and watch this
controversial topic.
Let's listen to this is from Stephen Miller. This one's 5 minutes long, but it's not going to be that long that we're going to be watching this. This is Stephen Miller, and this was back in February of this year at CPAC. Okay, so anybody who sits here and goes, oh, well, we'll wait and see what happens when Donald Trump gets in office. Guys, they've been talking about this for the past years. They've been talking about this. Let's go ahead and listen in on this one here from Stephen Miller, and then we'll jump back into the Dr. Phil one.
Topic, immigration. We have President Biden importing 10 million people.
Biden importing. He's not importing anybody
into this country. A lot of these people are...
It's not my audio. The audio is kind of scuffed on it, so you just have to deal with it a little bit.
Unvetted. They don't share our values. They don't want to assimilate.
I had an argument with somebody about what are American values, by the way. That's a whole nother conversation, a whole nother topic. But I find it pretty interesting because American values are that they're a melting pot, right? There's not really one necessarily American value, although there are some. I've seen people say, well, yeah, anyways, it's a whole interesting conversation.
Many of them. And so I'm going to start this with Stephen Miller, who's been the tip of the spear on immigration.
Now, keep in mind, Stephen Miller is a senior advisor for Donald Trump, and going to be helping out with a lot of these border policies. Keep in mind that Stephen Miller was part of the Muslim ban in Trump's first administration.
What should we be doing in a Trump 47 administration to fix this disaster, this invasion of our southern border?
Well, as I say sometimes, the immigration issue is extremely simple. The policies involved in fixing it are very complicated. The simple part is seal the border, deport all the illegals. Now, that's the...
He says that, but it's actually really not that simple. All right. Sorry, the tremors.
That's the short answer, right? It's you get in, you have two policy objectives that you proceed with utter determination on.
Honest days pay for your work is what America's about, and that's what undocumented immigrants come here to do. Is
Seal the border.
honest days
Nobody
work.
goes in, everyone here goes out. That's very straightforward. In terms of the policy sets to accomplish this, as President Trump showed in his first term, it's a series of interlocking domestic and foreign policies to accomplish this goal. In no particular order, to rattle off a few fast, you have your Safe Third agreements, you have Remain in Mexico.
So Safe Third agreements, if I'm not mistaken, I believe is that there are 3 certain countries that are labeled like safe harbors or something like that, and that they're required to stay there. Remain in Mexico was basically they would come over here, they would claim asylum, and then they would get deported back. But there was a lot of flaws with that policy, by the way.
Finish the wall. You have robust prosecutions of illegal aliens. You do interior repatriation flights to Mexico, not back to the north of Mexico. It's very important. You re-implement Title 42. You have several
The interesting thing, though, is he said remain in Mexico, but Title 42 was, I believe, remain in Mexico. So I think he kind of mixed those up a little bit.
212S, that's the travel ban authority. We did a few of those in the Trump administration. You would bring those back and add new ones on top of that. You would establish...
Keep in mind, 212F's travel ban is, again, going back to he wants to try to re-implement the Muslim ban, is what he's trying to say.
Large-scale staging grounds for removal flights. So you grab...
And keep in mind, guys, this large-scale staging ground... I'm sorry. Oh, goodness. Real quick, I'm going to show you guys this. Oh, goodness. Swallowed my spit. This was recent. Let me make sure I ain't got nothing up here. We have already seen this where Donald Trump, I can't pull it up. I don't know where it's at. Texas has offered Donald Trump 1,400 acres. 1,400 acres for deportation operations. So there's already one check box done for Stephen Miller.
Grab illegal immigrants, and then you move them to the staging grounds, and that's where the planes are waiting for federal law enforcement to then move those illegals home. You deputize the National Guard to carry...
They're already talking about deputizing the National Guard. So I point to this video, guys, because this is from February of this year. And so far, we have heard almost each one of these talking points.
Out immigration enforcement, and then you also deploy the military to the southern border, not just with a mission to observe, but with an impedance and denial mission. In other words, you reassert the fundamental constitutional principle that you don't have a right to enter into our sovereign territory, to even request the asylum claim. The military has the right to establish a fortress position on the border and to say no one can cross here at all. Yes.
Yeah, so you can see Trump's new administration is pretty crazy. Let's go ahead and go back to Dr. Phil now while we're at it. Hold on one second. My dog needs to go outside. Hold on. All right. All right. Let's go back to here. Let's go ahead and take a look at this.
Immigrants. It's a cornerstone of Trump's immigration plan. But Homan is no stranger to controversy. You'll probably remember his role in the zero tolerance policy. He's not afraid of a fight, and he doesn't back down.
Which, so this is the interesting thing about this. Actually, this is funny because this is Congressional Research Service. What? 1 second, guys. My dog can't seem to make up her mind. All right. So if we look at this, the zero tolerance policy, if I'm not mistaken, basically was like, look, you come across the border, we're going to send you on your way. Whereas which there was not really a hierarchy. Whereas with Joe Biden, there was a hierarchy in the sense of that they went after national security threats. So that's the difference here, is that zero tolerance went beyond just the national security threats. But I'm curious where this Congressional Research Service came from, because it's from February 21, which was shortly after Joe Biden took office. And I'm curious who made this up. Matter of fact, you know what? Let's do it. I'm sorry, guys. I know you came here to watch Dr. Phil, and we're barely into it, but we got time. Let me look into this because I want to see what Trump administration's zero tolerance. Trump administration's zero tolerance policy. Congressional Research Service. Okay, here we go. I found it. So we're gonna work our way through this. I want to see what this had to say. And watch, it's going to be funny because it's not going to. I have a feeling it's not going to defend Donald Trump, but we'll find out. Let's see. For the last decade, Central American migrant families have arrived at the U.S.-Mexico border. Aren't all Americans illegal immigrants apart from the Native Americans and descendants of slaves? Kind of. Yeah, I mean, you can make that argument. Oh. You could certainly make that argument there, KP. Let's see. The widely publicized family separations were a consequence of the Trump administration's zero tolerance policy, not the result of an explicit family separation policy. Following most critically public reaction, President Trump issued an executive order mandating that DHS maintain custody of alien families during the pendency of any criminal trial. Blah, 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 blah. Arrived at the U.S.-Mexico border in relatively large numbers, many seeking asylum. The report is a historical document about the zero tolerance immigration enforcement policy and the resulting practice of separating children from parents, legal guardians, and the Trump administration. During his first month, the Biden DOJ memorandum formally rescinding the zero tolerance policy. Family separations garnered extensive public attention. The Trump administration and immigration enforcement advocates maintained that the zero tolerance policy was necessary to disincentivize enforcement into illegal U.S. entry. Some aliens at the U.S.-Mexico border seeking asylum. Asylum is not numerically limited. This is just kind of this is a whole long list of it. I'm trying not to read the entire thing. What I'm trying to find is, this is actually really interesting. It shows the timeline of family separations. I'm trying to see if they have like a conclusion or something like that. Argue that migrant family. So this is pretty non-biased, actually, which is actually surprising. Illegal immigrant to the United States and to repair trade illegal. Yeah. So this is it's actually pretty non-biased. Okay. I just didn't know if it was gonna. I mean, it does look like there are some criticisms of it, but it's not very widespread. All right, let's go back in here. I just didn't know. I mean, we already saw that. Dr. Phil made posted some weird statistics. Come on now.
On when it comes to his beliefs. Take a look at this moment from his 2019 House hearing.
You recommended family separation.
I recommended zero tolerance,
which includes family
This is who we have to look forward to for the next 4 years, guys.
separation.
the same as is with every U.S. citizen parent gets arrested with a child.
These are not the same. And I've heard this argument from MAGA time and time and time and time again. And now last week we had a conversation with Wick and Lactoid about this particular issue, about normal citizens having their children separated from them when they get arrested. But there's a fundamental difference between those two. For example, when we think about things like DUIs or we think about drug possession or things of that nature, that is a completely separate, in my opinion, moral issue than somebody who's simply crossing the border and trying to make a better life for themselves. I think there is a fundamental difference between the two. You may say that they're crimes. Now, there's a lot of contention around whether or not somebody crossing the border illegally is a crime, or if it's a civil infraction. There's a whole like legal argument to that. I'm not here to say that. I'm willing to concede it's a crime for sake of argument. But I would say that there are levels to crime in which crossing the border does not have a good one, Tron. All right.
When I was a police officer in New York and I arrested a father for domestic violence, I separated that father
Mr.
from his
Homan, with
family.
all due respect.
Domestic violence is completely separate from crossing.
Legal asylees are not charged with any crime.
When you enter the country illegally, it's violation 8 United States Code 1325.
Seeking asylum is legal.
If you want to seek asylum and go through the port of entry, do it the legal way. The Attorney General of the United States has made that clear.
How can you possibly allow this to happen under your watch? Do you not care?
For you to sit there and insult my integrity and my love for my country.
He cut that up. He cut that up.
The United States has made that clear.
That was a
How
cut.
can you possibly allow this to happen under your watch? Do you not care?
For you to sit there and insult my...
Why did they cut that? That was cut up. I mean, I get why, because of time, but that, like...
Allow this to happen under your watch. Do you not care?
For you to sit...
Do you not... Oh, now I want to know. Do you not care what? What was that? U.S. House Committee on Oversight and Accountability. Let's go. Let's see. U.S. House. I'm going to do Tom Homan hearing. I don't know if I can get to it, but let me see. See if I can find that exchange real quick and see if it's even the same thing. Let's see. House Oversight Committee 2019. There we go. All right. What is this?
These egregious and cruel conditions and policies are not accidental. Mr. Homan, during your time as acting ICE director, deterrence was the order of the day for you. The memo bears that out. Exactly what you planned for. The Trump administration claimed they had no choice but to rip children from their parents because they were criminally prosecuting the...
Wait, I want to make sure I picked this up right.
Sit there and insult my...
This to happen under your watch. Do you not care?
Okay. Do you not care? That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the do not care part.
Parents pursuant to zero tolerance policy, again, and policies that the administration created and that you, Mr. Homan, accepted, enforced, and championed, as we've seen. Let me remind everyone that the Trump administration tried to ban asylum seeking and started the process of metering, which then prevents people from coming through legal ports of entry. That exacerbated the crisis. People are desperately waiting months just to get in line and be granted the inalienable rights to due process. Mr. Homan, you have said that most immigrants are, quote, not criminals.
Here we go.
Other than the criminal act that they do when they enter the country illegally. That is why I think we ought to revisit decriminalizing desperation, striking sections 1325 and 1326 of Title VIII of the U.S. Code, the statutes that the administration has leveraged to separate thousands of children from their families. Mr. Homan, do you understand that...
Here we go, boys. Here we go. Let's see what got cut out in that clip.
The consequences of separation of many children will be lifelong trauma and carried across generations? Have we not learned from the internment of Japanese Americans? Mr. Homan, I'm a father. Do you have children? How can you possibly allow this to happen under your watch? Do you not care? Is it because these children don't look like children that are around you?
Oh! Dr. Phil cut that part out. He cut that part out. Why'd you cut that out, Dr. Phil? Wow.
How can you possibly allow this to happen under your watch?
I'm not shocked.
Do you not care? Is it because these children don't look like children that are around you? I don't get it. Have you ever held a deceased child in your arms?
First of all, your comments are disgusting. I've served my
I find your
I've served my
comments
country. I've served my
disgusting
country
as
for
well,
34
sir.
years.
I find your
this
comments
is out of
disgusting
control.
as well.
I've served my country for 34 years, and yes, I held a 5-year-old boy in my arms. That in back of that tractor trailer, I knelt down beside him and said a prayer for him because I knew what his last 30 minutes of his life were like, and I had a 5-year-old son at the time. What I've been trying to do my 34 years serving my nation is to save lives. So for you to sit there and insult my integrity and my love for my country and for children, that's why this whole thing needs to be fixed. And
so fixing it by separating children. So yeah, that's what got cut out of this.
For you to sit there and insult my integrity and my love for my country and for children, that's why this whole thing needs to be fixed. And you're the member.
We
of Congress.
agree on that.
Fix it.
Tom Homan is a straight shooter.
Now, keep in mind, did you see that? Look, I'm being very nitpicky right now, guys, so forgive me. Did you see that cut? Look at this cut that they do. Watch. Children, 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 children. After Dr. Phil was just talking about how all they do is take free school lunches.
Tom Homan is a straight shooter, a no-nonsense guy who's dedicated his life to law enforcement. Let's give a warm welcome to the new border czar, Tom Homan. Well, sir, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
What did she just say?
Well, sir, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I couldn't hear it. Maybe like Trump 25 or something. I don't know. Do they have closed captions on? Let me see. Hold on. I don't know. It's hard to hear.
What am I, chopped liver? I think you got some fans in the house here. Why is this so important to you?
Because of the tragedies I've seen in my career. I mean, I
Love you, Tom. That might have been it, Blizza. That might have been it, Blizza. Thank you.
started as a border patrol agent in 1984. So I wore the uniform. I became an ICE agent, first ICE director. They actually came up through the ranks, right? President Trump put me in that position, who I think is the greatest president of my lifetime.
Bro, why does his face match the curtain so well? Yo, either he hasn't seen any light. I saw it, Tron. Either he's not getting a lot of light or Donald Trump's getting a terrible spray tan.
And by the way, and the tragedies I've seen, you know, I've talked to young girls as young as 9 that were raped multiple times by members of the cartel. And when you get on your knees and talk to a little girl that had everything innocent and pure ripped from her, she'll never be the same. It moves you. I stood in back of a tractor trailer with 19 dead aliens at my feet, including a 5-year-old little boy.
Okay, I have an issue with this. Okay, this is similar. What this reminds me of is the doing their best with their impression of a cardboard box. Yeah, so here's my issue I have. It's okay, Tron. If it happens, it happens, then I just, tweak it. But here's my issue is Tom Homan has said this again. We just literally just watched him in the congressional hearing almost what? This was 2019, so 5 years ago, say this exact same line. We saw this with, what was it, Jocelyn Hungary or what's the other one? The other little girl. Anyways, they keep saying this time and time again, and the families have come out and were like, hey, stop it. We don't want you politicizing our children's, demise. And so this is the same situation here. Why do you keep politicizing this? Why do you have to mention this? No one asked you about this. You unpromptedly said it. Border returns 2025. Ain't nobody coming in anymore. Ain't no issue. Here's my issue. Okay, go ahead.
They're all in their underwear because they were
No, 24 for his rolling. Okay, yeah, there you go. So this is the one I guess they're doing like a little tweet saying in regards to that.
baking to death. They died in a Bastille box. And I said during my testimony that one congressman said,
wait, wasn't
Bastille, only a 5-year-old little.
Was that truck driver a U.S. citizen? Interesting. I wonder if that truck driver was a U.S. citizen. Was he? Let's find out. January 24th, 2011. Let's find out. January what? 24th. I guarantee you he probably was, considering the fact that he was allowed into the United States. Immigrant truck trailer. The driver of the insulated tractor trailer used in an operation. Remember all those criminals? All those criminals, guys? These criminals? Yeah. Here's the guy that was sentenced. Tyrone Mapletoft Williams was resentenced by U.S. District Judge Lee Rosenthal to 405 months imprisonment on each of 19 counts of conviction. Williams was originally sentenced to life imprisonment for each of these 19 counts. Williams was convicted by a jury of conspiring with others to transport and harbor illegal aliens for commercial advantage and financial gain. This case was so it sounds like here we go. Oh, come on. I hate when it does this. Here we go. Yeah, no, this is a U.S. citizen. Oh man, you gotta love it. This whole talk that they were having about, undocumented immigrants and all the crimes they commit, when meanwhile this was done by a U.S. citizen.
Oh boy, they're all in their underwear because they were baking to death. They died in a Bastille box. And I said during my testimony that one congressman said I didn't care about dying children unless you were white. I stood there and knelt beside that 5-year-old boy and put my hands on him and said a prayer for him because I knew what his last hour of his life was like. No one deserves to die that way, especially children. I've held many dying people. I've held many dead people and talked to a lot of women and children that were
Do you want me to sit here like, look, it's tragic. I'm gonna say this, and maybe this is a little bit of a hot take. It's absolutely tragic with what he is talking about. Let's not take any of that away. But how many police officers on our streets today deal with the same situation, not at the border, but at our own streets? How many cops in Chicago hold this exact same thing going on? This is not a uniquely border issue. This is a United States issue. My audio is not working. I don't know what you're talking about, Caleb. Everyone else can hear me just fine. Maybe you need to check and make sure it's not muted or something. I can see you got received. Great troll, though. Great troll. Yeah, Tron, Caleb's just being a troll. So to me, don't try to use this child as a way to push your radical immigration policy. That's just not the way to go about it.
She assaulted. It all can be off with what this administration did to the most secure border in my lifetime. But thankfully, we got President Trump coming back, and we're going to secure the border once again and save lives.
Rico said, do migrants commit crime at a higher or lower rate than Americans? I believe it's lower. I'd have to relook at the numbers, but per capita, I believe it's lower.
And Tom, this is
and total wise.
This can be secured again.
Yes, we had the most secure border in my lifetime. Again, I started in 1984. I worked for 6 presidents.
So secure.
President Trump is
so secure.
Game changer. I mean, we had the most secure border ever.
This guy right here, there's an infamous video. There's a video of Ronald Reagan at the Statue of Liberty talking about how we should welcome in immigrants and things of that nature. And it's just funny to see him compared to Trump. Ronald Reagan would be a little bit upset with where the Republican Party has gone.
Illegal immigration at 45-year low. Illegal immigration was down 83 to 90%, depending on what time frame you looked at, right? So we can do it again, and we have to do it. People say President Trump's policies are inhumane, they're racist, and it's just nothing further from the.
They keep posting these damn like articles. 8 separated migrant families sued Trump administration for $3 million each. Why? Wait. What? Why would you put this up there? Wait, what? Hold on. What? I hope he has a follow-up. What in the world?
And we have to do it. People say President Trump's policies are inhumane, they're racist, and it's just nothing further from the truth. There's studies done.
Wait, did they win this by chance? This is February 2019. Let's see if they won this case. 8 separated families sue Trump administration. I don't know, but we're about to find out if they won. Oh, interesting. Federal government, hold on one second, guys. I think Joe Biden ended up settling before the Trump administration policy. Hold on one second. My dog's having a moment where she can't figure out who she wants. I'm looking it up, Joe. Hold on one second, guys. I'm trying to find. So the settlement happened under Joe Biden, but it was filed under Trump administration. So it's kind of one of those funny things that, like, due to Donald Trump's separation policies, they ended up filing the lawsuit. And it sounds like it was settled under the Joe Biden administration. It's kind of interesting how that plays out, huh? Uh-oh. There it is.
31% of women that make that journey through the cartels admitted to be sexually assaulted. So we know.
There's a lot of this language in here, guys, and I have no idea, but it's up on YouTube. So I would assume that if it's up on YouTube and Trump is, or Dr. Phil is saying it, guys, I'm so sorry. My dog cannot make up her mind. Go. One second. Okay. Oh, shut up, Cartero or Cartelito. No, I love my dog. It's because like when it's so interesting. When I start talking, she starts whining at the door, and so she wants to go out. But then as soon as I open up the door, she doesn't want to come back. She comes back in, and then she starts whining again. But she doesn't have to go outside or anything. She just wants to go, like, she's doing what dogs do. Dogs do some funny things. Wait, since when is Dr. Phil doing serious interviews? I don't know, Rico. It's been interesting. Oh, shut up, Rico. All right, let's go ahead and continue this.
You know that number is probably high, right? Much. When President Trump had illegal immigration at a 45-year low, when 90% less people were coming, how many women were being sexually assaulted?
God, how many times you say it, man? Chill.
How many women? Over 250,000 Americans. Record number of people on terrorist watch lists coming across the border. In Trump administration, we had 13. They got over 300. Just that alone. So President Trump's policy saved lives by the thousands. The most humane policy they've ever seen. Securing the border saves lives, period.
We're going to look at those numbers and compare.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Here we go, boys.
What's happened between the two administrations, and we'll do that right after the break.
Look, I'm not even going to lie to you guys. What's happened? Joe Biden's looking pretty young in this picture. He's looking a little older now, okay? Look, if I'm being completely fair here, okay? But if I'm also being fair, this is from like Donald Trump's. This is kind of an unfair comparison, by the way, because this is from when Donald Trump first ran in 2016. Okay? So, little unfair on the picture here, by the way.
Happened between the two administrations, and we'll do that right after the break. The October 15th tax deadline may have passed.
What? No, I don't. No.
Like really fast next these.
Oh my gosh! Get me rid of these. Get rid of them.
Nadie es un secreto que no hay economía. Pues no quiere a los latinos, no quiere a los mexicanos, y pues siento que sí va a ser más difícil, más complicado.
Now this is a true thing, by the way, and I'm not going to sit here and deny this. There are certain. This is where it gets difficult. There's certainly a Rico. There are certain things about a tough border policy that do lend to less immigration. Let's be very clear about that. That is true, but there's some things you have to look at here. Trump is a failure on the board. What numbers are they going to use? Yeah, exactly.
Well, that was the reaction from those who are trying to cross the border into the U.S. right now because of Donald Trump's reelection. It has sparked some fear and uncertainty among the immigrant communities. But the incoming border czar, Tom Homan, has downplayed these concerns about mass deportation, stating that legal immigrants and U.S. citizens have nothing to fear.
That's not what he said. That's not what he said. We all listened to it. We just listened to where Tom Homan said, if you cross the border illegally, then you are being deported. No. And in fact, he has actually advocated against DACA.
Stating that legal immigrants and U.S. citizens have nothing to fear. You have nothing against people that enter this country legally.
Absolutely not. This country is built on immigrants.
Wait, what? Guys, this is weird.
Stating that legal immigrants and U.S. citizens have nothing to fear. You have nothing against people that enter this country legally.
Absolutely not. This country is built on immigrants. I'm not anti-immigrant. I'm anti-illegal immigration because I understand the whole ugly underbelly of what that means.
Yeah, because as you pointed out, those that come in are being victimized before they ever get here by the cartels and by those.
Why are they posting? Like, why? I've heard more about this, and I understand that it does happen. But like, this is the issue I have. In Wes, if you're still in chat, buddy, by all means, feel free to chime in on this. This is some absurd, like laying the groundwork for this. Like, I've heard more about this SA thing than like, it's so bizarre, Bob. It's so bizarre. I understand it happens. I do. I get it.
They owe debts to people that got them here.
So he crossed it illegally a few years ago and paid $7,000. And then the two can't handle the truth.
Yo, Rico, appreciate the subscription, buddy. This is how they lay the groundwork for manufacturing. Yeah, dude, Wes, this is the problem I have, man. Is like they're trying to form this particular picture of all these undocumented immigrants as if every single one coming across the border is looking to sit there and do these acts. It's beside me. Yes, Brayson, I'm so soyed. I'm so sorry. I just wish that Kamala won. I just wish she won. No, dude, look, Kamala, you know what? I'm going to do what you MAGA didn't do. And guess what? I think that Kamala Harris lost and Trump is our next president. And I hope that Donald Trump doesn't implement some of the policies he's going to implement because it's going to absolutely destroy our economy and destroy our American values. They want to get rid of everyone, but when they say only the bad ones, then they get, yeah. Exactly.
two guys inside the vehicle also don't have paperwork.
Hey, Simon. I'm gonna need you to chill out, bud. Gone. That's what I'm talking about.
I asked him what happens if you don't pay the cartels. He says they'll hold you until you pay or they'll go after your family.
And their families are held hostage and are accountable for those debts back in their home countries.
Absolutely. I mean, trafficking is up over 600%. Over 500,000 children have entered this country through the use of cartels, separated from families, and this of them. And that's something President Trump's committed to doing, finding these children and saving them.
Let's take a look at Trump versus Biden administration. The Trump administration, 2017 to 2020, encounters 2,088,618. In 2020, in
Trump administration had 2,088 encounters, 1,609,000 repatriations, and then they added this into it. That's interesting. I'm almost certain there's some other ones in there that you could probably include, but that's okay. Okay, so this is really interesting to me though, because they're saying 10 million. That's not true. It's not 10 million. This is really, really, really deceptive. Really deceptive. Right, Wes. Right. This is deceptive as all get out. They are. Let's go to U.S. border encounters by year. It's not 10 million. I'll tell you that right now. Pulling it up real quick. In 2023, here we go. Single adults. When was this one from? 2024. So they're estimating. Oh, you can't see it. That's okay. It's like less than 100,000. Or for 2024, we were at 1,218,000. And then for 20, where is it? Do we have any comparisons for 2019? So 1 million, it's actually, yeah, it's gone down significantly, but this is single adults. These are single adults. Oh, here we go, total. So, okay, so we had two. Yeah, so here, I'll show you guys this. This is easier to look at. For 2022, we had 2,378,000, 2,475,000, and it's gone down to 2,135,000. But what I'm trying to see is for 2017 to 2020, what did we have at 2019? Southwest border encounters, 2019. Here we go. Okay, here we go. So in 2019, it was at 977,000. So this is really interesting. This doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Where this 2,088,000 is coming from. Anyways, this is really odd, but we'll go on.
Encounters 2 million.
One issue I see with illegal immigration, only 11 likes. It also doesn't account for Donald Trump, essentially forming a dam of people that all attempted to seek entry after trial and so forth. Oh, that's a good point too, Devious. There were certain policies that he did try to implement, and that's what we actually saw. If we go back to this right here, you can see a massive surge. I mean, look at this. Here's 16. It was 553. It went down a little bit right here, but then look at this. It continuously went up, like massively. Here it is at 521 and then 977. So it still went up pretty wildly. So, and what it looks like is, yeah. So anyways.
1,088,618. Encounters with the Biden administration, 10,825,387, and then 2 million gotaways. So that's a huge difference in the number of people penetrating the border. And then repatriations, 1.6 under the Trump administration, and then 4.4 under the Biden administration, which is reflective of the number of people coming across. Trump administration, 2,000 pounds of fentanyl seizure, and Biden administration, 14,000 pounds. That's enough to kill every American walking, because it doesn't take much. So that tells you how much is coming across, because the DEA tells me they assume they're seizing about, what, 10%?
No more than 10%. It's not a coincidence in 4 years of an unsecured border, we have historic overdose.
Come on,
bro. They're making sandwiches, changing diapers, making hospital runs. They're dealing with humanitarian crisis.
Double audio on Twitch? What are you talking about, Wes?
So when you pull 70% of agents off their national security duty.
Oh, I see. Okay. Thank you, Wes, for letting me know that.
That's when they move the fentanyl in to kill Americans. That's when they move the sex trafficking, the 600% increase in sex trafficking. That's when the bad people come. And look, 2 million people paid more to get away. Why did 2 million people pay more to get away? Because they could have paid less, get to the border, the cartel job's done.
Hold on, let me see. Okay, so it should have been cleared up. I don't know where that was coming from, but it should be good now.
Yourself in a green uniform. Get processed, get released within 24 hours. Get a free airline ticket to the city of your choice. Get a free hotel room. Get 3 meals a day.
Wait.
Why did 2 million people pay more to get away? Because they could have paid less, get to the border, the cartel job's done. Turn yourself in a green uniform. Get processed, get released within 24 hours. Get a free airline ticket to the city of your choice. Get a free hotel.
A free airline ticket? Okay, don't know if that's a federal thing, but I know damn good and well that a lot of Republican states were giving them round-trip tickets. In fact, I believe it was Greg Abbott that did that. I don't believe that was a Biden policy. Was that a Biden policy? I'm just going to let go. Keep going. But I'm pretty certain that's...
Get free medical care. And in 90, 120 days, get work authorization, which was the very reason you came here. Why did 2 million people pay more to get away? Because they didn't want to be vetted. They didn't want to be fingerprinted. That just scared the hell out of everybody. Scared the hell out of me. How many of those?
I don't know if they didn't want to get fingerprinted. Or I don't know if I agree with all that. Anyways.
Came from the country sponsoring terror.
I want to be sure everybody understands what you're saying. There's port entry here, port entry here. They come through in between, and if they go to a green uniform, that's where...
Wait, what? Why didn't you show this? Hold on, wait, what?
There's port entry here, port entry here. They come through...
Why are they not showing that on the big screen? Criminal charges... What? Hold on. Look at this. Is insane to me. This right here is the shit. I'm talking about. Look at this. 108,000 with criminal charges, pending criminal convictions, arrested by ICE. 178,000 with criminal charges, pending removal convictions, removed by ICE, and 300 plus stopped with names. Now, guys, hold on. He are we playing like a simple bait and switch? Hold on, where are we at here? I want to make sure I don't forget. 1922. All right, 1922. Now keep in mind, this is the stat he just showed us.
Number of people coming.
Guys, let me bring out my calculator. Hold on, we're gonna do some math. Guys. All right. So if I am to assume that under the Biden administration we have truly had 10 million, again, this is why I tell you guys, please increase this number as high as you guys want to. It makes my day better. All right. So 10,825,387 plus. Let's add a 2 million. So we're gonna do 12 million. 825,387. We're gonna do this math, okay? And now they're saying that
people paid more to get away because they didn't want to be vetted. They didn't want to be fingerprinted. That just scared the hell out of everybody. Scares the hell out of me. How many of those came from the country sponsoring terror?
I want to be sure everybody understands what you're saying. There's port entry here, port entry here. They come.
Okay, that total is no more than like 350,000. Let's just say. All right. So hold on one second. All right, let's do 350 divided by 12,825,387. That's 2%, 2.7% of those who were arrested under the Biden administration committed crimes. 2.7%. 2.7%.
Through in between, and if they go to a green uniform, that's where they get their free pass, they get all the goodies, they get into the country, and they may get a court date in 7-8 years, but they're here for all that time. Now they go to a brown uniform, they get turned around and sent back home, right?
Oh yeah. Under this administration, that stuff won't happen after January 20th.
That's a free pass, and they don't do that. They got something serious to hide, is your point.
They paid more to get away, and that scares the hell out of me, because I don't know how many terrorists cross this border in Joe Biden, but someday we're going to find out it's going to be a bad day for America.
Relatively few. And again, yeah.
Even the FBI director agrees with me that the southwest border is a big.
See, and again, guys, I want to make sure we're clear when we're talking about immigration. We don't disagree, right? That we don't want any criminals coming across the border. But the solution isn't to sit there and deport every single person because of the 2.7% of people statistically that are likely to commit these crimes. So we don't disagree on the problem, right? Thank you, Vampire, for the follow. I appreciate it. What we do disagree with is the solution to this problem, to be clear.
Biggest national security vulnerability this nation has seen.
Well, let's take a look at that, because we see here
here we
that
go.
300 plus were stopped with names matching known suspected terrorists on the watch list, 183,055 with criminal charges pending, criminal convictions arrested by ICE, and 178,508 with criminal charges pending and convictions that were removed by ICE. So if that's how many are being stopped and caught, you got to wonder how many got away. And that's who's in the country. Where are these people now?
We have no idea. As far as the people, the gotaways, there's no footprint on these people, right? They weren't fingerprinted, they weren't vetted, there's no release documents. So these are people we're going to have a hard time finding, but we'll find them.
When we come back, we're going to hear from some Democrats who are not taking kindly to Trump's plan.
We'll find them. How do you propose to find them, Tom? Is it possible that you're going to have what they call colloquially as a snitch line? Is that what you're going to do? Interesting how that works, huh? So, yeah. Solution is to deport. We can't feed and shelter. Oh, shut up. We can be fine. We'll be fine. We've been fine for all these years anyways. All the people that are under Donald Trump as well. So we'll be fine here.
Plans for mass deportation after the break. Every notification on your phone announces another wave.
I don't want to hear about your podcast. All right, there we go.
.com. Get the right meds the moment you need them.
With Bullhorn, with legal action. If it's contrary to our values, we will fight to the death.
Are you willing to go to jail over this?
You know, I think there are thoughtful ways to solve this problem. If they want to focus on violent criminals, we would be happy
here we
to
go.
support
It's about to get really
arresting and
interesting
deploying
now.
them. What we're not going to do is support deploying 101st Airborne into American cities to pull 10-year-old kids out of their classrooms in handcuffs. I think that is immoral, that's unconstitutional, and that's un-American.
Well, that was some of the reactions from Democrats across the country. Democratic leaders and immigration advocacy groups are planning a major showdown against President-elect Donald Trump's proposed mass deportation plan, shaping up to be one heck of a battle that Trump's new border czar, Tom Homan, says he's ready for it. What happens January 21st? Where do you start?
Well, there's three rails we'll start the first day. Number one, we're going to secure the border. Number two, we're going to run the deportation operation. And number three, they're looking for these 300,000 kids. We'll find them too. President Trump's been clear, we're going to prioritize public safety threats and national security threats first because they both.
Wait. All right. Oh. I want to hear this again.
The most dangerous public safety threats and national security threats first because they pose the most danger to this nation. So day one, we're going to be looking for these public safety threats, arresting them, detaining them, and deporting them. And if these sanctuary city mayors don't want to help, then get the hell out of the way because we're coming. We're doing it.
You know, again, guys, there are call-ins welcomed. If any of you guys, hold on. Is Tom Homan a 5-year-old? How does he not remember? Right.
You say that the left media has it backwards, branding you as the bad guy. How are you the bad guy?
You know, I grew up in a family full of cops. My grandfather's a cop. My dad was a cop. And we're in a situation now where the left thinks those who enforce the laws are the bad guys. Those who broke the law are the victims. Well, we're going to change that after January 20th.
Here's the thing. Okay. When we talk about the law, it's very important, even if we're not talking about immigration and we're just talking about like somebody who goes and steals a candy bar, for example. Does he not understand? And I'm sure he does. Does Tom Homan not understand that there is levels at which we should prosecute certain crimes that we ought to probably have certain discretion, right? There should be some discretion for officers to determine whether or not they should arrest somebody. If a kid goes to a corner store and steals a candy bar, like there's a level of humanity here. And I think that Tom Homan has completely thrown humanity out the window. Yeah.
So we have known criminals.
Listen, if anybody in my YouTube chat, which I know we've got a lot of MAGA in there, and that's completely okay. I don't know what it is about YouTube Shorts that we tend to attract a lot of MAGA. In fact, a lot of my videos tend to attract MAGA too, which is really funny. It's kind of like, you know, one of those lights that you put outside when all the bugs start kind of going towards the light and like, ooh, light, and they get crazy about it. I kind of feel like my stream is that for some reason, which is fine. I don't mind the haters. It's actually pretty fun. But again, it's funny because a lot of these haters will not come into chat. They won't back up their policy positions, but that's okay.
Criminals here. Did countries such as Venezuela?
Yo, Matt Peoples, appreciate subscribing, buddy. And listen, if I got any libs in my chat, please speak up, okay? Because right now, MAGA is very loud and proud. I see Rico in there. I see Rico in chat. Very brave soldier, okay? But yeah, 100%. Just wait until your Trump tariffs kick in and you can't afford your Walmart eggs anymore. Yeah, or don't forget, Rico, good old Mexican beer.
Take people out of prison and send them up here. And in fact,
wait. What are we doing? Yo, Lucky Liberal, what's going on? Oh, wait. What did he just say?
Venezuela. We have known criminals here. Did countries such as Venezuela take people out of prison and send them up here and in fact refuse to take them back?
Yes.
What's up, ignorant Catholic? Well, thank you guys. It's not about haters. You're trying to equate shoplifting a dollar candy bar with breaking into our country. I don't think breaking into our country, as you're trying to describe it, Brian, is the same as, I think it's actually far less worse than stealing a candy bar. Yeah, I think it's far less worse. And actually, I wouldn't say far less. I think it's probably about equivalent. I'd say it's about equivalent. Maybe a little bit equivalent. I don't see what Tom is saying that's controversial. It's because it's the idea that Trump doesn't understand what asylum seekers are. And he thinks that people have actually been removed from insane asylums to become here. So that's what's so funny. Demonstration. Yeah, you'll never come into my Discord and you won't debate me. That's completely okay. I get it. I know that MAGA is afraid to stand by their policies.
Venezuela, to this day, they're pushing back on taking return of those criminals. So President Trump already realizes he has to give a mandate to Venezuela saying, you will take these people.
You don't know anything. Based on what experience and education? What experience and education do you have, BP Slick? But I know you're going to say that you have it, but you're not going to be able to back it up. You're just going to say it because you have the keyboard in front of you, but you don't want to actually defend your positions. And that's okay. I don't have Discord. I'm not a child. Okay, exactly. Of course you don't. Of course you don't.
Go back or you'll face consequences.
We're talking about some gangs here.
I'm a border patrol agent. Okay, that's cool. And I'm an accountant. What about it?
This is from Aurora. I've had the Aurora people here. You've been in this building. Yes. You've been to this building. You've talked to this resident. The mayor had a statement that contradicted itself within the statement that said there wasn't a problem here. We arrested 6 people there. Well, which was it? Was there a gang problem in this building?
Absolutely. There's a gang problem in that building. In that entire neighborhood, there's a gang problem.
Yeah.
I was there. But the community's at great risk. But now they got a problem January 20th because my gang's bigger than their gang.
There's another like kind of dog whistle to what he's going to be doing with there's another dog whistle to deputize the National Guard. Use that excuse, yet we have had like 6-year-olds download Discord and maybe it may counts for talk. Yeah, pretty much. Oh, that's the thing, Wes. Right now, dude, Wes, if you want a trip, come into my YouTube chat right now. It is wild. It's wild. But it's okay.
So these guys are probably watching Dr. Phil's Merit TV. So they're going to know that on the 20th, the 21st, there's a whole new set of rules. Are they likely to scatter or are they likely to make a fight of this? What do you expect?
I'm from New Zealand. I don't know what classifies someone as MAGA, but I'd love to discuss and interview you on your thoughts about all the things you hate most about Republican stuff. So, ignorant Catholic, we're probably getting close to the end of this. Honestly, I was thinking that Tom Homan would give some more spicier takes. Oops. But here's what I'll tell you guys this, because I am getting close. It's almost 9:00 anyways. What I will say to this, I'm loyal only to Catholic stuff, not political stuff. Now, you might be memeing or joking, but that's fine. I'll still take this time to kind of explain to you guys who I classify as MAGA. There are people who still view Donald Trump in the 2016 to 2020 light, right? They're not somebody, there's somebody who kind of goes to work. There's somebody who click on Fox News and they watch it. I wouldn't necessarily classify them as MAGA. There are people who are Trump sycophants. Those are MAGA. People who unabashedly are unable to criticize Donald Trump. You're probably MAGA. If you said that you were going to vote for Vivek Ramaswamy over Donald Trump, you're probably MAGA. If you say you're a libertarian, then you might be MAGA. But I don't know if I would necessarily call, I mean, it depends on what you support. That really puts you into that category of MAGA or not. I understand that Republicans have a broad swath of different thoughts. But the reality is that MAGA has taken over the Republican Party. If you don't sign up for, if you're any bit critical of Donald Trump, you are considered a rhino. In some cases, you may even be called a socialist, communist, or Marxist. So to me, that's my particular issue. Now, see, this is the fun, and this is the other thing too. If you get offended by me calling Donald Trump an egomaniac or any of those things, then you might be MAGA. If your ego is easily offended by crowd sizes, you might be MAGA. So those are some of the fun things. But I love it too. The moment I say MAGA, Wes, I'm glad you're in chat right now witnessing this. The moment I said MAGA, everyone was going like nuts. Tells you everything. That might make you MAGA. If you get excited by, look, I'll take a hot take. If you get excited seeing a picture of a bald eagle, you might be MAGA. Well, beneficent, to be clear. It depends on your views. I'm not going to sit there and say you are or you're not. Keep in mind, none doesn't, just because I'm not providing any kind of particular thing doesn't mean you are or you're not. It's just meaning it's a neutral position. Get your own material. Well, I didn't say you might be a redneck. MAGA sounds like the heresy of Americanism. Well, so the funny thing about it, Ignorant Catholic, is I've seen a lot of like Christian conservatives come out of the woodwork when Donald Trump was running and they were doing prayers over Donald Trump. Yeah, that would have been like considered blasphemy, by the way. So it's interesting. If you never did anything for the U.S., you're a liberal. I mean, I guess depends on what you mean. Never did anything for the U.S. But anyways, because by MAGA's own logic, there are several generals who were doing things for the U.S. But it's such a vacuous statement. When oh, there you go, old pasty face. CNN literally conflates all of us all with false. CNN and MSNBC have absolutely capitulated to the right. If you didn't see Joe Scarborough do that, but yeah. Okay. What I did want to do is I wanted to watch. I don't know how much time. It's an hour-long interview. I don't know if I'm able to watch the full thing. Might have to save it for Friday. Might have to save the Trump interview Friday. I should have watched a Trump interview now. Blasphemy for praying for Trump, pretty stupid statement. It depends on what you're talking about. If you're praying for Trump in the quietness of your room, it's probably not blasphemy. But given if you are doing what I had seen on the campaign trail, it probably certainly qualifies for blasphemy. As a matter of fact, I can even Google it for you guys so you know exactly what the blasphemy is. Where is it? Where is it? Maybe I got it wrong here. Hold on. Well, you could say that. It's not. Is it heresy then? Might be heresy, but blasphemy you certainly could. It's basically not attributing some of the works of Jesus, but to man. I think it might be heresy. I'm thinking of then. Is heresy the one? Basically, where you are. Where is it? It's not blasphemy. It's where you use the Lord's name in vain. That might be it. It might be using the Lord's name in vain. I had it earlier. Basically, when you're using when you're praying over, like, for example, when you're praying over Trump and you're doing it for man's pleasure, but not your own, there's a certain thing for that. It might be heresy. Let me look up heresy. I thought it was blasphemy, but it may not be. It's a little bit different. Although there are certainly people that would probably argue that some people have been blasphemous by attributing some things to Trump, not so much to God. But it's not the one I'm looking for. I don't know. I'll have to look it up because I don't think that's it. Might be. That's not it, BP. It's not it, old pasty face. All right, I'll tell you. I didn't want to get into like this churchy thing, but I'll kind of explain it to you. Basically, Jesus was very, very much against some of the Pharisees or Sadducees, one of the two, going out and praying extremely loudly amongst the people in the crowd. And Jesus was very contentious with that. So either way, whether it's a certain word or not, Jesus was very much against that. And what I had seen was a lot of praying over Donald Trump very publicly, very loudly, which is very against what the Bible teaches. So whether you call it heresy, blasphemy, I can't think of the damn word to save my life. But either way, that is not something Jesus would have condoned. It's basically praying and making a public statement for all the wrong things. Yeah, idolatry might be in there as well, beneficent. That might be one of them. Again, old pasty face, me and you may disagree on religious or theological things, and that's perfectly fine. But again, it's what I've seen throughout the campaign trail is that these people have now come out and essentially made a mockery of Christianity. Vanity idolatry certainly could be some of them. No, it doesn't. It pushes apostolic church. What? Church? Using God's name in vain, heresy would be dissent from the Bible's teachings, so heresy would be more accurate of which training is true. Yeah, I think that's what it is for us, Phoenix. Thank you for popping in, by the way. Yes, that is implication, Cam. The left use people in buckets so they can target messaging based on identity politics. I don't believe in God, but I've read the Bible, apostolic. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not like a biblical scholar by any stretch of the imagination either. I grew up in the church. I went through a lot of that stuff. And again, to be very clear, I was a conservative for majority of my life. So anybody out there who's like, oh, you're a dirty liberal, you probably no, I grew up very conservative. And I grew up in the church. So I clearly have read through the Bible. And I've seen some of the comments and I've seen some of the stuff that I look at and I go, this is not what Jesus would approve of personally. I don't worship the man. I just thought Harris was a socioeconomic. God, I was pro Bernie in 2016. So beneficent. It's actually really interesting you mentioned that. So I think Harris was a far better option than Donald Trump by every stretch of the imagination. I think if you're a Christian conservative, it makes zero sense why you would actually vote for Donald Trump, just because of, again, a lot of the things that Donald Trump preaches are, again, antithetical to the Bible. But again, even if you're just look at just some of the regular policy positions, I think Kamala Harris was much better than Donald Trump, but that's just me. I think she failed on the front of basically, she failed on a couple of different fronts, but I'm not going to rehash all of it again, like I've been saying. Seems interesting to me due to me not being a Republican or a Democrat. So again, so I'll tell you guys, and because again, we're starting to wrap things up a little bit, and I'll start to kind of, we'll have to save the Donald Trump interview, assuming that there's not another interview. We'll save the Donald Trump interview for Friday. I will be doing a TikTok live on Thursday. But anyways, what I wanted to mention about Like what? BB's like, I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to. Like what? But if you're referring to Kamala Harris and Donald Trump's policy positions, I think that Kamala Harris, for example, a lot of her tax credits were super great. Some of the things to try to incentivize home building, I thought that was really awesome. The fact that she didn't want to necessarily impose any kind of crazy blanket tariffs, I think that's huge. If we look at Donald Trump's policies, where he wants to do like we just saw with mass deportations, super terrible. We can look at the fact that he wants to continue these Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which would end up just really just help the upper class. It would not actually help the lower class. We saw lower class only benefit. Now they benefited by way of having a smaller bucket to go up from. So the percentage wise, it looked like they made more, but in reality, they made less total than the upper class. Kamala prosecuted journalists for exposing Planned Parenthood. Conservative Christian equals fundamentalist. Me too. Not anymore. She should have pushed housing policy more. Yeah. So beneficent. This is the issue too, is that she was trying to appeal too much to the middle. Okay. She really was. And again, I know I'm gonna probably get a whole bunch of MAGA in here going, no, she wasn't. She wasn't moderate. No, she was very moderate, all things considered. And her fear of trying to upset the moderate held her back, right? Where, for example, we can look at the Palestinian and Israel conflict. Now, I'm neither here nor there on the issue, and I'd rather not get into it. But what I will say is this: she could have taken a more stronger stance on that than trying to cater to the middle. She might have picked up a few more votes. We could look at housing issues, for example, or minimum wage, for example. The biggest issue of all, by the way, is her not distancing herself from the Joe Biden administration. Now, to be clear, the Joe Biden administration did really well with the economy, but the perception was, and it still is to this day, was that Joe Biden had a terrible economy due to inflation. And she could not distance herself from Joe Biden. She was in a really tough lose-lose situation there. And she was so closely tied by way of just simply being the VP. So, he means like what? Like what is anti-Bible? So again, I just mentioned one, for example, where Donald Trump would sit there and we can look at the fact that Donald Trump is not really big on social programs. I would argue that social programs are something that is somewhat biblical, although it depends on how you kind of turn it and twist it a little bit. For example, there are a lot of these social programs really target some of the lower class, and you would argue that the lower class would be something that Jesus would. I don't want to speak for Jesus, but it certainly you can see some of these things, like for example, feeding the beggar, feeding the people who are a lot of the outcasts. I would encourage you, by the way, to go watch The Chosen. Great show, love it. It's an awesome show. If you're any kind of like a Christian or anything, like even a theologian, I would argue to advocate for The Chosen. It's an awesome show. You can also argue that some of the things about trying to dehumanize certain populations was not really biblical. We can look at the fact that Donald Trump was doing public displays of prayer and was really self-grandizing in those moments, not really giving the Lord any kind of blessings in that regard as well. Yeah, beneficent. The bread and fishes alone is a good example. Sure. Listen to him talk about anything biblical. He never. Yeah, and that's the other thing too, Tron. But I want to be clear. Just and I don't want this to be the doghouse preacher hour. But to be clear, you don't. Just because you do or don't go to church doesn't make you a Christian. However, it is interesting to note that the only time that we have seen Donald Trump in church has been during like some kind of a celebration, whether it's a funeral celebration. We've never seen him really have any kind of mass. In fact, I don't even know if we have a preacher in the White House that he really sees. Now, granted, maybe he's doing it in private and that's the way it should be done. Now, he does have the Bible, the Trump Bible, which is also a whole another issue in and of itself. It's also called the Greenwood Bible. I know MAGA is going to go nuts saying, "Oh, it's not the Trump Bible." I'm aware it's the Greenwood Bible, but he's trying to get the Bible into classrooms by way of having the Constitution and things like that in his thing. By the way, I just realized that this blue sky thing up here, right here, is actually wrong. It's not Doghouse Show, but you can still find me on Blue Sky. I'm not on Twitter anymore. I've removed my check mark. I'm out of there. I disagree on Trump dehumanizing people. I think it's an issue people take with rhetorical style. He is very blunt. I don't think that's that beneficent. I think that the way that they, again, we just watched with, for example, with Dr. Phil, and the way that they kind of started to lay the foundation for who these people are is, instead of saying these people are coming here for a better life, instead of saying that, they're trying to make a better way for themselves, they're labeling them essentially as all criminals. I'm atheist as and real. I feel like I'm an obviously more Christian like than Trump. You're probably right, Wes. Some things may not be very Christian, but certainly you probably have more Christian like traits than some MAGA. That's for sure. She ran on a big war ticket on the unchristian people around the world. Her history was based on persecuting the poor and legal system. She was a snake. So the thing about Kamala Harris is, again, if we look at her in comparison to Donald Trump, I would say she is more Christian like than Donald Trump, just based on the way that he has characterized these people. They broke the law, period. He's a felon who chose to break the law and screw poor people over. Trump is evil. 14 million Dems turned her back on her. God bless them. 14 million Dems. Pasty Face, you're working on bad numbers. It's actually like 6 million. Now, granted, 6 million is still large, but your numbers are wrong. A lot of Border Patrol agents are immigrants. None of them came legally. Wait, a lot of Border Patrol agents are immigrants? I would need a more solid number than a lot. That doesn't tell me anything. It also tells me you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, Harris was far more moderate, but she was unable to disassociate herself with the Democrat Party as a whole. People want change from the establishment. Yeah, Frozen, this is actually a really good point. This is exactly why I said is that she was unable. Well, no, I don't. I think she should have associated herself with the Democrat Party more. When we look at 2020 and why Joe Biden did so well, think about the issues at that time, right? You had things like C-19. I say that because I don't know. I'm on 2 different platforms. I'm not on a lot anymore. I stopped. By the way, guys, I'm not streaming on Twitter anymore. I've completely disassociated with Twitter, short of disabling my account. The only reason I'm staying up on there is really just to catch some news and stay alert to some of the MAGA talking points. But now I am fully on Blue Sky. And also on TikTok until January 19th. I'm in total disarray right now, guys, because TikTok might be getting banned on January 19th. So my little honeypot of TikTok might be going poof on January 19th. Assuming, now keep in mind, they have to be bought out by a U.S. company. So, sorry, Beneficent.
You can't handle the truth.
Yo, Naz. Oh. Appreciate the subscription on YouTube. Yeah, Tron. So TikTok just has to sell to a U.S. company. They cannot be. They have to basically, divest from any kind of Chinese investments or anything. We know why you got off X. It's not Twitter anymore, Bozo, because nobody likes you. Oh man, Hurt Locker. That hurt so bad. No, I don't care. I got off X because it really the thing about X is there's just not a whole lot of benefit from it. One, it is very much a MAGA safe space now. Safe space for MAGA. MAGA loves it. They love their little bubble. And so for me, there was just no benefit there for me and my particular ideology. I actually saw many people also, just in terms of sheer numbers, move away from X, and my numbers went down pretty hard. Yeah, Wes, Twitter fans are kind of weird. They're pretty weird. Over 6 billion Elon's posts are misinformation, and they got shared with every single user on X. Well, and there's also been some, concerns that there were potentially bots on the platform. And for anyone who's unaware, X has been continuously losing members. It's been rumored that he has been, the users have been steadily declining ever since he took over X. But again, they're a private company, so we'll never really officially know unless he decides to reveal that information, which is good luck. And keep in mind, advertisers have continuously swayed away from X because of the fact that he has opened it up to all these crazy ideologies. It is what it is. Not a perception. Joe's economy was if you own stocks, your portfolio, the economy is great, but if our working class, your wages did not grow, everything became expensive, you couldn't afford life. That's incorrect, Alexander Higgins. For the past year, we've seen wages outpacing inflation. So it's been doing good. It's still getting there, but now that Donald Trump is taking over, it's far less likely that that's what we're going to be seeing. I believe nerds did some data science and figured out 30% of the people on X are bots. Yeah, I fully believe that too, Tron. And we saw that especially prior to the election as well. I have to disagree on that. To my knowledge, no one was really excited for a Biden administration even in 2020. People mostly voted against Trump and not for Biden. Well, so that's part of it. That's certainly a part of it, Phoenix. But that the issue is that we had a lot of rallying cries around 2020. BLM protests, right, took place in June and July. We saw, for example, like you said, a lot of the stuff going on with Trump, a lot of C-19, things like that. So you're not entirely wrong, right? But there's a reason why they did not like Trump, and that is because of some of the issues that took place in 2020 and years prior. What's going on, Cloak and Bear? Welcome in. Trump is undefeated against women. Yeah, so yeah, Trump and women don't seem to get along too well. But and MAGA, look, listen, I'm gonna say it like it is. And if there's anyone in my chat who's a MAGA woman, more power to you. MAGA women are kind of weird, man. I don't know. I've seen a lot of MAGA women and they're kind of weird. They remind me a little bit of like a Gretchen Wilson vibe. And you lost 15 million votes. Again, old clubs, you're working off old data, my guy. Working off old data, my guy. Should be working with some new data. You're not doing new data, my man. Shadow stats sounds official. Kamala was the deep state. Dems need a male candidate to defeat Trump. Cloak and Bear, this is a good question. And the question is whether a female can win the presidency. I do think some of it had to do with the fact that Kamala Harris was female. Question is how much of that would have swayed the election one way or the other. And the reality is, I don't know if it would have been entirely, I don't know if that would be the case. Are you a blue dog, Dem? By blue dog, are you talking about like just kind of like a essentially like a lib? I'm kind of, if you're asking if I'm a blue dog, Dem, I am fairly new. I would say so. I'd probably say blue dog, Dem, maybe. Yeah, Hillary did win the popular vote. The Cope continues calling us weird when liberals are literally walking freak shows. What's up, Bilbo Baggins? You got with the name Bilbo too. I'm not wrong. Look at real wages. Even seeing a report under Biden for the middle of the class did not increase, especially for the bottom 50%. Well, then you can say the same thing about Trump's tax cuts. The Democrat neocon puppets have led us to the brink of nuclear war. Let's see. In all seriousness, Buffett is selling, so maybe try to get ready for a recession. Yeah, right. Well,
you can't handle the truth.
Yo, Chris, I appreciate that YouTube subscription. I'm so silent. I'm gonna try something. Yeah, Donald Trump tends to do that. Well, guys, look, I'm gonna have to get going soon. It's been great talking with you guys. What I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to get off. But keep in mind, Thursday, I'm going to be doing a TikTok live. Friday, we will be back on YouTube and Twitch. If you have not subscribed to me, listen, even if you're a hater, okay, just do a hate subscription. Just do a hate subscribe. Subscribe to me either way, okay? At least do that. Look, if you want to troll me, that's cool. I get it. At least do me one honor. Look, we can disagree. Do that, all right? And yeah, get in the Discord, guys. Get in the Discord. Do all that. And if you don't like me, at least hit the subscription button. All right. Just do that. All right. But anyways, I know you guys aren't going to, and that's okay. I get it. Look, I get it. You want to troll on me. That's fine. I'm not, listen, at least there's one thing I'm doing. Okay. Appreciate it, Rico. Listen, there's one thing I'm doing for you guys that deserves a subscription from my haters. Okay. I don't censor you guys unless you say something that's like blatantly against TOS and I have to censor you, but I don't care. You can come in here. You can say your spiel. I don't think you're going to back them up, but at least give me that, okay? No, hey, it's just kind of sad. That's okay, Nathan Davis. Look, y'all are all entitled to y'all's opinion. Even if I disagree with them and I think they're completely terrible, you're entitled to those opinions. But anyways, drop the subscription, drop the like, and I appreciate everybody. Come on now. You can't do it. All right. Y'all take care.